Hey Rockstar, Steve aka Void here. Welcome to another episode of RIFFSTARTER, where I help you play your favorite riffs from day one by removing those annoying speed bumps and roadblocks that slow down your progress. So all of the strategies and techniques in this show are based on my best-selling book, Practice Less, Play More, which you can check out at playsongsfaster.com. So, welcome to today's episode. Today we're going to be talking about Blackbird. And Blackbird is actually one of the most common riffs that I'm asked to help my students and clients with, because it's a great song and there's a lot of really great techniques. And awesome, I see Sean is here, Pete and Basher, awesome, yeah, Go Isles, yeah, they've been doing awesome. So Blackbird is it's a fairly simple song in concept, but when you go and try it, there are a lot of annoying speed bumps, and there are a few different reasons why. A lot of it has to do with the approach that you might be taking if you've tried this song and you've had the same kind of struggle where you can't quite get it to sound like the record. I'm going to show you some cool things on today's episode that I hope will help you to get playing this song. And we're not gonna cover the whole song, but I wanted to just show you some cool things that we can try, because the whole concept here is that we want to, instead of trying to do the typical thing, which is match our current skill level to the level of the record, what we want to do instead is match the level of the record to our current skill level, and that's how you play from day one. So that's what we're going to do here. Let me actually switch over to my screen, and you can see here this is the tab of Blackbird. This is the verse over here. There's another part right here, and I just want to show you a couple of quick things. Now, typically what a lot of guitar players will do is they'll just start from the beginning, this instruction right here, then this instruction, and then this instruction, and then this one, and then this one, and this one. And this is what it would sound like. It would sound like basically you do, let's say, one move here, and then, okay, so how do I play these two notes? Okay, I don't know, maybe I'll use my thumb and my index. And then you do this one over here. Okay, cool. And then you do this one over here. Okay, and then so on and so forth. You go to this one, and then you see, okay, this is kind of like, what's this? This is like a little slide, depending on your experience with tab. And then this doesn't, so far it doesn't sound really that much like Blackbird. And a lot of that has to do with the fact that you might just be literally like playing every single move, you know, trying every single move and doing that in a way that is very unmusical. And when you're practicing guitar, you have to be musical. You have to focus on the core of music is basically a steady pulse. That's what makes it music. What I just played wasn't music. Like this isn't music. That's not music. Those are just building blocks. Okay? Music is having its notes like pitch. At least, actually, so music on guitar, because you could have drums, you could have music without pitch, but basically on guitar we have pitch and we have pulse, okay? Pitch and pulse. So we have the rhythm that we're playing follows a certain pulse, okay? So pitch, rhythm, and pulse, let's say, because the pulse is the thing that ties it all together. And when we're playing here, like that, those are all in a row. Bam, bam, bam. That is like a little snippet of music. But when you're just going like this, I really want to drive this point home here. When you're just getting the little moves here and getting the ingredients, that's not music, and we have to practice in a musical way. So now that we know that, what we want to do is we want to scrap the complexity. Now everybody's going to be starting at a different level, but I would recommend scrap the complexity and first make sure that you can get some of those moves down with just like, what chords am I playing? Like, so for example, if I need to play, okay, first actually we'll start with the root notes. So if I go to my screen here, you're gonna see how if I take just the root notes on the bottom, the 3, the 3rd fret here, the open 5th string, the 2nd fret, the 10th fret, if I take these bass notes, then already I could play those. Okay, so I can play those, and then even on the next part here, where it's gonna go, when it's like on that, instead of trying to do all those moves, first just take, see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whoa, that's interesting. That's basically counting up. So you could start to recognize these patterns. When you simplify the approach, your mind could start to pick up certain patterns. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Wow, that's cool. So you have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's climbing up. This is called chromatic. Okay, now basically, so let's keep it to that. We'll limit to this part here. Okay. So 3 open, 2 10 10. If you take those bass notes first, then now you have a foundation that you can draw from, that you build upon. Okay. Now that's one way to do it. Now let's just say, for example, because this song also has some finger picking. If you've never tried finger picking before, like having the fingers in classical position over here might be tricky for you. Okay, like it might be something that requires too much coordination. And in my world, I want you to play from day one. So that means that instead of taking your current skill level, trying to match it to the level of the record, we're going to take the level of the record, match it to your current skill level. That's how you play from day one. So if, let's say, you just want to use your index and thumb like this, or you're just picking everything like this, then cool. Okay, well, let's say you learn the different notes here. So let's say we scrap any of this like middle stuff, like any of these in between notes. We just take 3 and 0, so we have the 3rd fret of the 6th string, and we have the open 2nd string. Okay, and then we have the open 5th string with the 1st fret of the 2nd string. And I'm going to fast forward here a little bit just to show you the concept of what you would do. But we'd basically go like, if you can get 1 2 3 4 steps in a row. Okay, and even if you want to repeat stuff, like for example, okay, like you get something that sounds like music first, and then you can start to build on it. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, and then from there, what you can do is, if you want to, you can keep going forward, so you can get these next moves. Okay, let's say you learn these moves, but you get all of those moves down in a musical way first, like this, where we're getting like, as opposed to just have like, okay, first I do this, and then I do this, and then I do this. Like, that's not music, right? So instead, if you aim to get each shot like that, then all of a sudden now you have something that's musical. It's not like the best sounding music that's ever existed, but it's a foundation, and that's what we got to train our musical brain to do, is basically have this pulse at all times. And if we need to slow it down, that's fine, but it's always steady. Okay, now let me just check how I'm doing for time over here. Okay, so I wanted to just go through some of these tips here. The bass note is a great strategy. Having 2 fingers to start off, like just your thumb and your index. That's another great strategy for this. With this part here, this could trip people up. This sort of like hook and drop type shape here. So what you can also do is you could have your thumb a little bit lower, and you can stretch, play the same notes. You take this note, and you play it on the 2nd string. Like for some people, this drop will be a better sort of configuration for those shapes. Those are called diminished chords. So for some people, those will be a better switch, like this. But for other people, having this sort of like expansion and compression and expansion and compression type shape is also something that'll work. So you have like 3 and 5, 4 and 8, 5 and 7, 6 and 10, 7 and 8. I'm speaking in frets right now. So you can have, that's actually how I originally learned it. Now it's just reimagining it. See, like, don't take whatever you see here at face value. Whatever they're telling you here, this is just sort of like a starting point, okay? So what you want to do instead is you want to match this to your current skill level, okay? So you match it to your skill level, and if it works, like, so Pete, yeah, you're saying you play it the first way? Great. If that works for you, then awesome. If it doesn't, then you might want to try the stretch there. Now, but remember, with a lower thumb. Now, another thing that you can do is, instead of getting any sort of bounce to it, like, any of the bouncy stuff first, what you want to do is just make sure, like I said here, because because your brain can keep track of all that stuff, and then you're going to color in the picture later. But you can also, like, speaking of coloring it in, you don't have to color it, just go from that to all the way to the end, all the way to the final face value version with the bounce. What you can do is, let's say you're using 2 fingers on the first day, what you can do is you can go, you can just have it back and forth going between that open 3rd string. Let's say, so you have this steady pulse, bam, 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 over and over. So like, even when you're just practicing this part here, you focus on having that steady pulse the whole time, okay? And then what happens, then you can speed it up a bit. Okay, or even if you do the drop. Either way, it's the idea is, being a musician, you have to have that steady pulse, okay? Now, once you have that, then you can start to add some other stuff in, like, and then you can start to get a little bit of a skip to the rhythm if you want to, or you could get your fingers in proper classical position where the thumb takes care of string 6, 5, and 4, index finger is on string 3, middle finger is on string 2, and ring finger is on string 1. So that would be, so you get a little bit more distribution of the fingers. But you can see how, like, we take it from, we match it to your current skill level, and then you get a certain version, musical version, then you upgrade, and then you upgrade, and then you upgrade. Okay, that's what we always want to do. So I wanted to just go through those different tips there to get you started on Blackbird, because again, a lot of people will take this as face value and it'll never sound like music, and they love Blackbird, they want to play it, it's an impressive song, you play it for someone, they're gonna get, oh cool, you play Blackbird, it's like they recognize the song right away. And when you play it as just the ingredients that are sort of like stop and go, it's not going to be impressive. It's going to be frustrating for you and for the listener. Whereas even if you play something like this, it's different than it's different than that version, right? But even if you play this one, the steady one, it's still pleasing to the ear because also it's musical. It's got that steady pulse, right? And we always want that. So drop a comment below. Let me know what you thought about the episode. If you have any questions about it, even if you're watching the replay, this is a really important concept I'm going to keep talking about in multiple episodes of RIFFSTARTER. And really, anybody who knows me, this is the stuff that I talk about, is we never want to start by matching our current skill level to the level of the record. We want to match the level of the record to our current skill level. That's how we play from day one. Okay, so if you want to check out some more strategies like this, then definitely grab my book, Practice Less, Play More. You can check that out at playsongsfaster.com. I hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we'll see you in the next one.